Alright, everybody. For those of you still watching, thanks for sticking around, and for those of you just joining us, welcome to Round 3 coverage of Friday Night Magic from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans. There's not another soul in this broom closet with me this week, so it's just going to be me talking to myself, covering these imaginary wizard fights for your entertainment. Let's talk about Round 3 action. We have two 1-in-1 players. This is round 3 of 5 in Swiss, followed by a cut to top 8. On your left, Brandon Hodge. I don't know what he's playing, actually. I think he's playing, I don't know what he's playing. I know he's playing a deck. He was looking for Silverblade Paladins earlier. I know that. So he's playing some kind of aggressive deck. And then his opponent, last week's highlight of the week player, is Aaron Dailey. And he is playing Naya humans. So two aggro decks. I'm not sure exactly what Hodge is playing, but we'll figure out here shortly together. So stay tuned for that exciting revelation. So there we see the rock, paper, scissors game to start the feature match, like we start all of our feature matches. If you want to win your own playset, make sure you head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, and enter for your chance to win next week's drawing. We give away a playset every single week. So Aaron is mulling. What is he playing? I see a bunch of white cards in the Hallowed Fountain. I think it's like American Aggro. So that's what I'm going to put. And if I'm wrong, sue me. So Aaron's shipping back his opening 7, going down to 6. I believe he won the rock, paper, scissors too, so he's going to be in a pretty significant card disadvantage. So let's see if he likes his 6. He does in fact find 6 that he likes, and opens with the best possible start out of his deck, turn 1 Champion of the Parish. Cavern naming, I don't know, probably human. Oh, it's not American. It's Bant. Bant aggro. So Clifftop Retreat for Aaron means there's no Mare of Aberbrook, but there is a Lightning Mauler, likely unpaired, so that he can attack the following turn with it. Although I'd be surprised if Hodge would block with his Avacyn's Pilgrim. Nope, he does pair it with the champion and serves in, so Hodge decides if he wants to take out the Lightning Mauler, slow himself down mana-wise. And he doesn't decide to block, so takes 4 total, down to 16. Untapped Hallowed Fountain drops him to 14. Now, is this going to be a Silverblade Paladin? It is, in fact, Silverblade Paladin, paired with the Avacyn's Pilgrim, so they both now have double strike. Question about whether or not Burning Tree Emissary is a human. I believe it is a human. We talked about this last week. as we see Root Brown Crag come into play tapped. Burning Tree Emissary is very, very good. Seeing a lot of play in the Tamaharu Saito deck, which is red-green and the fastest deck in the format with Burning Tree Emissaries, Lightning Maulers, Flint Hoof Borers, of all things. A lot of burn to back it up. We are getting confirmation in the chat. It is, in fact, a human shaman. All of that's somewhat irrelevant, but good to know. It is a very exciting card. I thought I would have seen more of that on today's Pro Tour coverage, but as of yet had not seen Burning Tree Emissary in the feature match area. So Hodge here thinking about what he wants to do. Looks like he's missing his third land drop. Surely would have played that by this point. We do see a Knight of Glory. He is playing Knight of Glories in his main deck because he was hoping to borrow Geist of St. Traff today and could not find a playset of those. So he's pre-boarded against black decks with Knight of Glory, which is perfectly fine. Obviously Geist is generally better, but Knight of Glory is definitely still a real Magic card. And there, in fact, we see Knight of Glory, which is awkwardly played after combat. And then he's putting... oh, he's playing Bant Enchantments, is what he's playing. It took me forever to figure out what was going on, because I did not get a chance to ask him prior to the round. So he's playing Bant Enchantments. That card he just played, Ethereal Armor, gives the creature +1/+1 for every enchantment Brandon controls, and first strike. So as of now, it's a 2/1 first striking Knight of Glory, or I should say 3/2 first striking Knight of Glory. So I see a Silverblade Paladin in Aaron's hand, along with a Navason's Pilgrim and a third card that I can't make out, which might be a Selesnya Charm? Or is that a land? And it just passes back. Just a question about pairing that Lightning Mauler with the champion. Does get an extra 2 damage, but if he had been able to play his Silverblade Paladin and pair it with the Lightning Mauler here in the mid-game, would be a significant blowout. Come in. Hi, Jordan.
You were alone.
I'm all back here by my lonesome, but now joined by Jordan Petio. Just here for some sweet trades.
Yeah, just finished opening all the boxes, so...
All of them?
Yes.
All 4 boxes?
I got excited. The first box is pretty good.
Cracking packs is can be addictive.
How's the stuff been going on? I only got to watch game 1.
Things have been going fine. Do you want that? Okay. Buddy. Later.
Okay.
Alright, so, streams are going fine. We got the Pro Tour going on, so its numbers are going to be down. But
I noticed that.
I mean, I knew that coming in.
But it seemed like you had a pretty... The first game seemed pretty good.
All the Magic tonight has been very good. So, Selesnya Charm. What happened there? Why did the Selesnya Charm take out the Arbor Elf?
Exalted triggers, or what?
Oh, I mean, is it like... Did he make a knight to block it, maybe?
Possibly.
So we've got a Silverblade Paladin that is unpaired now, with a Spectral Flight on it, making it a 4/4 flyer, and an Ethereal Armor on a Knight of Glory, making it a 4/3 first striker.
Mm-hmm.
There's an Avacyn's Pilgrim. Champion goes up. Here's a Silverblade Paladin, paired with a champion.
Is the Lightning Maul already paired?
Yeah, with the champion.
Okay.
He chose to do that on turn 2 to like get in for the extra 2 damage. It's like one of those like close strategic decisions where you have to decide what's
Yeah.
What's better, yeah.
I mean, I saw the highlight where he was able to do the whole crazy blowout,
last week he played Lightning Mauler and a Silverblade Paladin in the same turn and swung for lethal in a game he probably didn't deserve to win. I mean, as the cards laid out.
Yeah.
But he kind of crafted that the whole turn. He said he'd been holding him back so he could do it all in the same turn.
Is he doing Burning Emissary shenanigans
No,
as well?
we were talking about that in the chat a little bit. I don't think he's playing that.
That card is fun.
What happened there?
Did it get blocked by the Knight?
I guess maybe he messed up math, or he didn't bond it with the Silverblade Paladin, because the Knight of Glory is only 4/3, so it should have traded with the Silverblade Paladin. But if the Silverblade Paladin is in fact paired with that Avacyn's Pilgrim, since they're laying on top of each other,
yeah,
that's one of the unfortunate things about not being able to hear everything that's going on out there.
I think that's game, right?
Yeah, they both fly. Yep. So Spectral Flight, a card you thought was marginally good in Innistrad, or is it from Innistrad, right?
Yeah.
Innistrad Block Limited, rearing its ugly head.
I mean, +2/+2 and flying for 2 mana. I mean, yeah, it's an enchantment, but that's obviously it's pretty good in these enchantment decks.
Mm-hmm.
Does Hodge have any new neat tech from Gatecrash?
No. I think this is just exactly the deck he's played in previous, he played before rotation.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if there's a Gatecrash card in it. But I mean, that happened last week, the Star City Games Invitation, or the Star City Games Open, which was where was it in? Was that the one in New Jersey?
Edison,
yeah.
New Jersey. Yeah.
The standard event was won by a Jund mid-range deck that had no Gatecrash cards in it. It was playing Forest instead of Stomping Ground. It's a very interesting story. They asked him about that. He said, when Gatecrash came out, he had his Jund deck. He asked a buddy of his, is there anything I should add to my Jund deck? And his buddy said no. And so he just played it. And he won the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because his buddy didn't think of lands, I imagine.
Yeah.
He was saying, there's no other cards that are better than the core threats.
Well, I think I watched him play in the finals or something. It may have been the Legacy final, but one of those, there wasn't really a final. It was maybe 10 minutes with shuffling included, and the games were just over. The one guy was just sitting there
Oh, well, in the Legacy event, it was won by Sneak and Show, so that could have been it.
Okay, because I remember someone was just sitting there, and they're like, well, he has no way out. He's just like...
Well, the Grand Prix from that was in Europe 2 weeks ago, the final of it was about 10 minutes long as well, because in the second game, the first game was pretty quick, and the second game, the guy, got mana screwed, and so, it was just over. But that does... that was sometimes what happens, I do want to take an opportunity while we're blasting through some pile shuffling here. Aaron is a deliberate sideboarder. I'm not going to find fault with him, but he does give me an ample time to do this. For those of you who are joining us, if you are faithful viewers, you obviously know all about this nonsense. But if this is your first time watching the stream, I would beg you to help us out just a little bit by spreading the word and helping subscribe to our various forms of social media. YouTube.com/ZachSellsMagic. Everything we have ever recorded is up on that site, including Gatecrash pre-release, a couple drafts, a cube draft, West Virginia State Championships, the Star City Invitational Qualifier, all kinds of good stuff. Those usually go up Saturday or Sunday after the event. So subscribe there, and you'll get a notice anytime I post something new. You can follow me at ZachSellsMagic on Twitter. General randomness throughout the week, as well as notifications about what feature matches are being held. So if you can't watch the whole thing and just want to watch certain matchups, you can do that too. That's at ZachSellsMagic on Twitter. Also, Facebook.com/SellsMagic. That is our main website. Daily content. It's basically a Magic news and notes aggregator, as well as giveaways, highlight videos, all that kind of stuff. If you want to interact with people you see on the stream, you can do it there. You can talk with Mr. Jordan Petyo. He can try and get foil Simic cards off of you via our trades on the site. But check that out. If you can go to Facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, if you do manage to go over there, if you could throw a quick like on the page, that would help us a lot. That is literally the best thing you can do to help us spread the word, is interact with us on Facebook. It shows up in your stream, your friends that play Magic see it, it spirals out of control a little bit. It's very good. And obviously, twitch.tv/ZachSellsMagic is where the stream is. If you're watching live, you know that. If you're watching on YouTube, try to check us out sometime live. But if you are watching live now, click the follow button above and to the left of the video window. That will get you subscribed to us, and you'll receive an email notification anytime the stream goes live. Fridays, 6:30 p.m. every week is our FNM broadcast, but if we do anything else unscheduled, that's the only way you'll know. I'm in the process of scheduling, like, I want to schedule a cube draft. Like, we did one in the past, and it was just like me and one other guy, Winston, drafting, and it was riddled with misplays, and, but it was more like a proof of concept, like I was just trying to test the equipment, see if you could do that, like, hand cam and stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to get 8 people, and I want to...
How did the release go? I didn't get to actually catch it. Like, was that hand cam and stuff going pretty well for picks?
No, because that was literally the worst week we had for signal quality. Like, people were just pounding the network for what, I mean, it just, like, so it was really choppy and stuff like that. But I'm going to step outside. I'm going to move the scorekeeper down. Can you slide the scorekeeper just a little bit this way? Can you slide the iPod just a little bit this way? More. Down. Or to your right. That's it. Thank you. I told them to move it down because I'm an idiot. Because they can't see what I see. To them, it's the right. Uh-oh. Freestyling there.
I'm excited though. I really liked what Gatecrash has done. Like, I watched some of the Pro Tour, and there was like a skull crack for awesome, like, you know, cut off your Sphinx's life gain to like save yourself. It's like that didn't happen before. Like,
well, the coolest thing, I've been talking about it multiple times tonight, and actually Matt Elliott's playing a deck that uses this combo. The coolest thing I saw in the Pro Tour coverage so far is there are Boros Reckoners everywhere. And they're in Star City Games team is playing a deck that's specifically designed to beat Boros Reckoner. But the cool thing is it uses Cartel Aristocrat, so it never actually deals damage. You just sack your Lingering Souls token or Doom Traveler in response. But the interaction between Harvest Pyre and Boros Reckoner.
Oh, I heard you talk about this earlier. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
The Infinite Life thing, which, I mean, it seems like it's not going to happen, but it can.
One time it will. All it takes is one time, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I saw, I think, what deck was it? Some guy from Italy. He had 2 Rocks Faithmenders and was just playing Red Deck Wins. Resolved a Centaur Healer, which, you know, gains him, 12 life off the Rocks Faithmender. Has an Azurius Charm in hand. Resolves a Thrag Tusk, which that's when he gets Skull Cracked. But then next turn he just, like, you know, if I just Azurius Charm and attack, like, that's 1,055,000,000.
One of the most... were you playing in this game? I don't know if you were or not, but one of the most degenerate things I've ever done in Commander is cast Kicked Rite of Replication on my opponent's Rocks Faithmender. Because all you do is you attack for like 1 damage, and then you get lifelink to the 5th power.
So what is that? 1 life gain triggers 5 life, right?
Yeah, I gained like 5 life. So, yeah, it was double. So it was like I gained like 500 life, give or take. Then someone played a card that made everyone's life total equal to the highest life total in the game, and then I killed everyone with the Blightsteel Colossus, or no, with the Skithrix. Alright, so we see Blind Obedience here, back to the game. Turn 2, Mayor of Averbrook on the play for Aaron, meets a turn 2 Blind Obedience from Brandon. Blind Obedience seems really good in the enchantment deck. I don't know if that's a main deck card or sideboard, but it's...
I mean, it pairs well with your Ethereal Armor.
Yeah, it's really good with your Ethereal Armor, and it's just good in general. It's probably a sideboard card, because you don't really want to tap out. I mean, you're tapping out a lot.
Yeah.
Lightning Mauler comes into play tapped, which I mean that's the best part about
getting rid of shenanigans like that.
No, it just shuts down haste as we see the Invisible Stalker come down. If you're Aaron, would you just pass back with 2 and not play anything and flip your yeah? I think I would have. I would definitely do that here.
I guess it also depends. Well, I'm assuming he's not. Is that a Sacred Boundary?
That's a Clifftop Retreat.
Okay.
So he has all the mana he needs.
So I was going to say, if he plays a Shotgun, that's kind of like...
Yeah. And so he chooses to do it this turn, yeah. And to be fair, he may have just missed the Blind Obedience turn. Although he put it in the play tap, like he knew it was there. I think it's just because I can't see all the cards in his hand, I don't know it. So he played the Hallow Fountain. Can you remind him he needs to take sword? Here, hold on.
Oh, never mind. He just like, hey, I'm gonna beat
you. I need to tell him because of the he played his Hallow Fountain untapped. Hallow Fountain.
So my much is that? 1, 2, 3, plus 4, so
He's
5.
he's
plus
got
1,
three
so
three from the armor, 2 from the flight, 1 from the base power, so 6.
and then it flips back to that there.
Yep.
Not bad when your curve's very low.
When does Mare trigger? At the beginning of the end step?
Of your insta. Just so it's a
So it never... Yeah,
Yeah.
shouldn't he make a token there?
No, he flips at their upkeep, and then at the beginning of your end step, so it'll be like the first end step you'll see as the wolf is theirs.
There it is. Question in the chat about what is this? This, of course, is coverage of Friday Night Magic from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. We stream it every week, and I don't know more.
Wizard battles. There's a Thalia. That'll make it a little more difficult.
Well, Thalia last turn would have made it a lot more difficult. Brandon can pretty much ride out his board position here to victory, really.
I mean, like, one more Ether Armor, which would just be like...
1, 2, 3, it would be 4. Be plus 4.
And it
So
would
he's
do
got
double. So it would be 8, and then 10, then 11, so that would... I don't know. Or that. You could do that.
I think that just wins, doesn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paired makes 12. 12 damage. So knocks.
Does the Naya Humans list have stuff to do with hexproof?
No deck has stuff to do with hexproof. Like just sweepers.
True.
I mean, no one's playing that glaring spotlight.
See,
Like that's not a card that's designed for standard.
Well, what I've been wondering is why people haven't run it just for, like, you know, I don't know if there's, like, board positions now, where it used to be where, like, if you had two mid-range decks, they just stacked up, and then you can
Are you
just
talking
use
about
unblockable.
the unblockable effect? Yeah.
Like, I feel like you should just ignore the whole hexproof part on that card and just be like, 3 mana, my guys are hexproof and unblockable. That's pretty good, you know.
So it goes all the way down to 2, right?
It is a miracle of tournaments.
He needs to miracle a card that's not in his deck.
He doesn't run Bonfire. Well, I guess Bonfire wouldn't matter either, would it?
Celestia Charm would be good. There's a mare drawn off the top. This time a promo mare. Which mare do you like better, promo or pack?
Pack. The promo mare just didn't
Promo?
do it for me.
The pack one has a dog in it.
It does, doesn't it? One of the Raven pureblood things.
Some dog. Just some dog. So Aaron in quite a spot here, facing down a 6/6 hexproof.
I bet Aaron wishes he had Boros Reckoner Infinite Life combo right now. Am I right?
Yeah, 6/6 hexproof, unblockable. Because Silver Con is unblockable, right?
Mm-hmm.
A casual take back, no big deal. Because it doesn't matter, because the game is over. This is just one of those unfortunate things where, like, Aaron's deck is perfectly good. It's just sometimes you run into these matchups where it's just so difficult to
I mean,
get
it's
back.
like Invisible Stalker, like Hexproof. First off, that's really hard for the human set to deal with because most of your removals like Fiend Hunters and Oblivion Rings most of the time. And then on top of that, it's just like when they're attacking you for so much, it's like you can't be aggro and do what you were going to do anyways. Especially with Blind Obedience.
I'm trying to see if like anything would have worked here. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's taking 7. Like even if he had like.
But look how close that. Like if you didn't have the Silver Blade, like the extra body.
So he takes 1, 2, 3, 4. Goes down to 8. And that's enough. So Magic is hard when you can't interact with your opponent's creatures. That's a pro tip from me. You know, someone just tuning in now for the first time is going to hear that, like, basically revolutionary Magic strategy advice, and they're going to be like, well, this is clearly the greatest stream I've ever seen. So, do you want to go out and see if you can find another match?
Sure.
Anybody is fine.
Do I have to do the Harlem Shake?
No, we were talking about it. We've already had Jonathan Wright, Matt, and Maxx.
Is anyone playing fun stuff? Do you know of anyone?
I don't know. So, Jordan's going to step outside briefly and find another feature match. So, don't go away. I do want to switch back here briefly to the studio camera Well, none of these names are right. I do want to tell everyone, if you follow us on our Facebook page, you're already familiar with this news. If not, breaking news out of the Lost Legion camp. For those of you that are not necessarily local to the store here in West Virginia, but regional, so if you live in Kentucky, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, those areas, we are having a Star City Games Invitational Qualifier Tournament on March 30th. That's a Saturday. It starts at noon. It's a $250 cash prize tournament with additional product and prize support determined based on the number of participants. $25 entry fee. It's here at the store.
Maxx and Alec, is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah, whoever. So we're going to get Maxx playing Grixis and Alec playing Esper Spirits. But anyway, Star City Games Invitational Qualifier, it's a big deal. It's like I said, it's a cash tournament, so if you are a regional to the area, obviously can't make it down for an FNM because it's somewhat inconvenient. But if you're a couple hours drive away, it's definitely worth the time to come down here. Meet the folks you see on the stream every week, help support the local store, more importantly, possibly win buys an invitation to the Invitational Qualifier. As we're now joined by Brandon. I forgot I had no idea what you were playing for the longest time. Then I realized, oh, I've seen this deck.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to figure out what was going on there. Yeah, just don't leave before I trade that to you. It's from a buddy of mine, and I knew you wanted it.
Yeah.
So I'll just, yeah, okay. So now joined by Brandon Hodge, we'll switch back to the feature cam. I was just mentioning, Brandon, you saw that we're having a Star City qualifier?
I did. I will be in attendance.
Okay, and I'm trying to encourage everyone who watches the stream in a dedicated fashion and is within a couple hours drive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it starts at noon. It's not too late.
Good time.
You can leave the house at 9 o'clock.
Sleep in a little.
Yeah. Come down here, and more importantly, when top 8, you're going to get a playmat. You're going to get a pin for making the top 8. There's going to be product prize as well, based on number of participants. But most importantly, $250 hard cold American currency to the winner.
Yeah, and he's not talking about stamps.
No.
This is
there are no federal bonds. No kind of writs. Just
no gold bullion.
Just I would take the gold bullion.
I would take gold bullion all day long, but that would be like what, 2 itty bitty pieces of gold.
Gold is $1,800 an ounce. So not even. I don't know.
And I sold all that gold to Fort Knox.
You just get to lick it, I think, at this point. whatever residue you picked up from that. Maxx, game 2 or 3? 3. Okay. I was going to ask who was winning, but game 3 can only be one result.
So, I tell you, a couple of the changes I made to that deck, because I haven't run that deck forever, the Bant Auras, Simic Charm.
Simic Charm is really good.
I've been very not pleased with it.
Oh, you don't like it? Well, it's mostly good in like the Delver type decks or like the tempo decks because it just bounces.
I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, obviously in the game of Magic it's a good card,
Mm-hmm.
but in that deck there's so much stuff that already has hexproof for the,
Yeah, and you tap out a lot.
A ton.
So you don't really have room to like leave it up for some shenanigans. How many lands are you playing in your deck?
23.
Okay, because you never played more than 3 like in all the games we played. Of course, the games don't go very long. Because the deck can either, you're 2-1 now, right?
Correct.
Who'd you lose to? Control deck?
No, I lost to green, black, aggro.
To Adam Vickers?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Game 1, I drew no action whatsoever, and then game 2, mulligan to 5 with 4 lands and Rancor.
And that is a deck that can, as we see, the old turn 0 play a land before Alec can mulligan. But that is one of the decks that can potentially race you, even if you have a good draw. I mean, they're putting Rancor. I mean, Rancor is tough to beat. You play Rancor, obviously, in your deck, right? Do you play Abundant Growth, too?
I do.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I run 4 Abundant Growth main board. That game, after game 1, I boarded out 2.
You don't do anything on turn 1, so like turn 1 mana fixing seems fine, and it cantrips, and it adds to your everything. But the question we had when we were watching is Blind Obedience a main deck card, or is that sideboard?
It's a sideboard card.
Because it seems like, just like the Charm, like it's not one of those things where you have a lot of time to like, you don't want to tap out for it on turn 2,
right? And
you don't always have mana to leave up to extort it, but it's like great against the haste deck.
It was a board card.
Did you bring that in against the aggro deck too, the Golgari aggro deck? Because their whole deck is haste. If you actually go, I don't know if you ever watch them on YouTube, but the round 5, the winning in from last week was that green-black aggro deck against Esper control. In both games, the Blind Obedience like won him the whole game.
Absolutely.
Turn 2 Blind Obedience, just like he would have lost the game in turn 4.
I'll tell you something that I've noticed, just in the SCG feeds and a couple bigger tournaments, I don't think the majority of Magic players know how to properly play Extort. You see a lot of people choosing not to Extort when situation probably calls that they should.
Oh, you mean not that they don't know how to play it, but they're just strategically don't do it.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, here on this, we'll just mention the game real quick. Maxx missing his third land drop, so this game might be over relatively quick.
This is the second time Alec's been on Creamer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you're kind of in a bad situation if you're Maxx, if you're having to use your charm on a token.
Yeah.
You're in a real bad spot.
Yeah. But if you're also discarding.
Yeah.
The problem here is that Alec has Obsidat, and Maxx doesn't have a ton of ways of dealing with it.
Aggro Snapcaster. Seems like you're in a bad situation.
Sphinx is in response. Ooh. Drawing 2. Don't know if I would have drawn 2 there. It
yeah,
seems like you can.
I don't understand that play. Why?
Seems like you're going to have plenty of opportunity later to
your
catch
opponent's posing no pressure.
So Alec, for Maxx having stumbled, Alec has put on, all he's mustered up is 1 Lonely Lingering Soul. He does, of course, have the back half still in the bin.
Was he on a mulligan at all, do you know?
And there's Obsidat. Alec mulligan to 6 on the play. Maxx did not mulligan. So Drain, Blink, Obsidat, and Maxx is going to pack it in. So that was someone just dropped a lot of dice.
A ton of dice just got dropped outside.
Someone dropped every die in the county, 3-county area is on the ground outside.
The tri-state area is
Well, I apologize for that rather uneventful round, but sometimes this is very much, well, it's not very good for TV. It's very representative of how Magic works. Sometimes you have, sometimes the game is just decided by whose deck decides not to provide land. So what can you do? I don't think we'll be able to get another match. So probably just talk about some random stuff here.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, people, that's really why you watch.
You'd be surprised. I think a majority of people watch because, I don't know, every now and then we'll get off on a tangent.
I was under no way being sarcastic there.
So want to finish up on the details, talking about the Star City Games Invitational. So if you are not familiar with what that is, Star City Games has the Open Series they run every weekend, and 4 times a year now, used to be 1, then 2, now 4 times, they have an invitational, which is obviously an invite-only event. It pays out, doesn't it pay out something ridiculous like
$10,000?
Yeah, $10,000 to the first place player, along with a ton of other great cash prizes. Those are quarterly, spread throughout the country, and the only way to get into that is to grind enough points on their Open Series by high finishes, which is relatively hard unless you like spike one. Like if you top 8 one, fine, you're qualified. But like it's very hard to like just play in enough of them just to randomly qualify. Or you earn entry through a Star City Games Invitational qualifier, very similar to a Grand Prix trial or a Pro Tour qualifier, where you win buys or entry into events. So that's what we're having here. It is here locally at the store. Go to LostLegionGames.com for more information. There's a notice on the store's Facebook page. There's a notice on my Facebook page. If you have any questions or whatever, make sure you get in touch with us. But so the details of the event. March 30th at noon. That's when it starts. So registration at 11. $25 entry fee. Standard is the format. The winner gets $250 cash plus product, and then entry into the Star City Games Invitational of their choice. That's how it works. You get basically for 1 calendar year, you get to play in 1, and that's really nice because some of them are inconvenient. Yeah. Hey Matt, how are you doing? Did you win one?
I did.
so you're now 1-0-2.
I am now 1-0-2.
You're drawing live.
I am drawing.
We're talking about Star City Games Invitational qualifier, which is coming up. So top 8 gets a playmat and a top 8 pin, and then a product based on the number of people entered, and then there's door prizes and stuff like that. So I'm really trying. There's no reason we can't have 40 people here.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to get more. The store can fit probably about 70 people before it starts to get a little bit sketchy.
What I really like about invitational qualifiers is you have the competitive, mentality of a tournament, but it's not as competitive as you'd say like a Grand Prix.
It's very competitive, but it's not cutthroat.
Right.
and you do, there's stuff on the line. I mean, you win 250 cash. That's 10 times your money. It's very reasonable, and that's not to mention the product too. Like, the reason I can't tell you how much product is because it's based on how many people play. But I mean, I think the one we had at CharCon, which was won by Max Turner, they. He won, and the top two split, but they split like $300 cash and like a box. So I mean, it's not an inconsequential prize that you're playing for, and you get to play against local people, so it's that kind of thing.
And you get to play Magic.
Yes, and you're playing Standard, and it's relatively new Standard. More importantly, you have 6 weeks, or at least 5 weeks, to prep for it. It's not like there's plenty of lead time. One thing that we're somewhat guilty of here at the store is not giving enough lead time.
Right.
But there's more than enough, and I strategically asked JB, I said, when he said he wanted to do it, I said, here's the date to do it on, March 30th, because there's no SEG Classic event. There's no SEG Open event. They're all like the ones in Alabama or something. There's nothing regional. There's no Grand Prix that weekend. There's no Pro Tours or there's nothing. There's no reason not to come and play Magic here at Lost Legion. Matt, you're coming, of course, right? Because you don't work all the time, right?
I never work. It's great.
So, Matt, let's talk a little bit about your deck. I did hear you, because I can overhear what's going on out there. I did hear you needle me a little bit, because I told you when you're putting your deck together that nobody here plays Control.
Nobody here plays Control.
And then you play too. Well, to be fair, Jonathan Wright's playing. He's playing the same deck. He's playing Tempo.
Yeah, but he has main deck counterspells.
Yes.
They're tough for my deck.
Right. And then you ran into Maxx. But, I guarantee you those are, 2 of 3 Control decks in the entire room.
Well, I played the third in Meganberger. So.
Yeah, but that was one you can beat.
Yeah, that is one I can beat.
She has a lot of combo elements, not necessarily, heavy Control.
Yeah.
But, so are you liking the deck? You are going to play that deck tomorrow at the Star City, right?
I am. It's really fun. I need to learn how to play it faster, obviously.
Better,
but, it's all right. It's really fun.
Have you done any shenanigans with Harvest Pyro on your Boros Reckoner?
Not yet.
Have you Blasphemous active?
No, I haven't done that either.
But you do have both, right?
I do have both. I also have the Infinite Life combo.
Explain how that works, everybody. I talked to it a little bit earlier.
So you have a Boros Reckoner on the board. It takes damage somehow. You Pillar Flame it if you need to do it yourself, or it does combat damage or something like that, or it takes combat damage. Then you give it Lifelink, Indestructibility with Azorius Charm and Boros Charm, and then have it deal damage to itself, and it's an infinite loop. You can gain an arbitrarily large amount of life.
What number would you choose?
8,375,643.
It's very important because
I worked that out beforehand.
No, it's funny you mentioned that because in the rules of
studying for that question.
I was.
In the rules of competitive Magic, you have to name a number.
Yeah.
You can't say infinite, so you have to choose a large number. Which is funny because if your opponent then has a loop, whoever combos second can choose an arbitrarily large number plus 1 to beat you. So if you have if you're playing their Humanimator deck, you could gain 10 million life. Then if your opponent has some way of, I don't know if there's an infinite. Is there an infinite damage combo currently?
Yeah, well, if the Kessig Malcontents and the Humanimator, I think you can do infinite damage.
Right, but
they could choose that.
But they could choose just 10 million and 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just whoever combos.
You want to combo first.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's pretty fun. And it did. What were you bringing in that control mirror? I remember from your deck construction, you have a couple counterflux, right?
I have 2 counterflux.
How many D-spheres?
2 detention spheres, 2 Jace, Psychic Spiral, which it's so fun. I wanted to do it, but if you had, Is It Charm, I had to do the Jace instead, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay, so we saw that because,
he thought he had me out, but I had the Restoration hand. I was like, oh god, please work.
You cast the Restoration Angel. For those who didn't see at the end of round 2, so you're going to get milled out.
Yes. I had 4 cards in my left.
Yeah, but Max also, you had landed a Jace and activated it twice. Then he killed it, but you still were. He was within mill range, right?
He had 9 cards in hand. So
you cast an end of turn Restoration Angel that he somehow countered or whatever, and you let it the counter resolve.
Yeah, he had Snapcaster.
But then during your turn, you played Jace, and then and it stuck, and then you milled him out. Right. But you could have also, you had a Snapcaster in play, played Angel, Blink Snapcaster, Flashback the Psychic Spiral, which had been milled previously,
Right,
for the greatest highlight in the history of Magic.
It would have been good, but unfortunately, it would have been countered by his Is It Charm,
Yes,
so I couldn't have done it. The other thing was, I did Thought Scour him twice earlier in the match. I don't know if you got 4 more cards. He was at 9, so I wouldn't have won if I hadn't done that either.
Yeah, we did see that because
that was a tough call, but...
Well, at that one point you had to, because, like, at least the second one, which I don't remember the first one, but the second one, like, it was, like, pretty dire. Like, it wasn't, like, early in the game.
No, not the second one, yeah, but, you know, it was cool.
How many lands is the deck running?
25. That's what I'm running.
25 is a lot.
Yeah, well, you know...
you know what that deck really wants? Celestial Colonnade.
Yeah.
Or something, or even a Mutavault would be fun. Like,
Yeah.
it just... You need to play the lands because it's so mana hungry.
And you know, against control decks, I mean, game 1, when they have, you know, Drown Yard and you don't have anything, and you're just a real dog, it's pretty rough. But that's why, you know, most of my sideboard against control.
Plus, it's really rough for me personally in that matchup because I'm very bad at Magic.
Yeah, me too.
Is Goblin Guide legal again?
No.
Alright, I'm not
what?
playing. Not playing. Earlier we were in here talking about something when Dailey was in here. I was talking about how, like, he was talking about, I don't like, he was not making fun of me, but he was talking about how, like, you had your lands, they're just kind of scattered to the floor, just like in a pile. Like, it's,
Yeah, that's how I do.
And he was talking about, you know, like, he's like, I try to keep them neat, but after, like, 5, you know, there's get too many and I can't say. And I said, I never have to worry about it because show and tell only costs 3, so I only have to play 3 lands maximum.
Yeah.
Because I just want which he took as being some kind of, like, arrogant, like, comment. Was like, I win the game on turn 3 every time. Which I said, no, I just want the game to be over as soon as possible. Because as you like to say, I don't like to play Magic.
You don't.
I just want the
You're
game.
in here doing this and that.
I do like to play Legacy.
Yeah.
I have a good
Yeah,
time.
but you play Dredge and Show and Tell.
Oh, I don't play Dredge.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to get rid of my Dredge deck.
Okay.
The Dredge is not very fun. Dredge is not very fun for anybody.
Can't hate too much on Show and Tell. We just won the SCG Open last week.
That's very good.
Oh, I don't hate on Show and Tell. I've been playing Show and Tell for as long as I've played Legacy.
I'll tell you what, one of the first times I came to a Legacy event here, a number of people who didn't have Legacy decks were borrowing them off Zach, and, like, how many Show and Tell decks do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I can build all of them.
It was like, well, I'm playing Show and Tell. Zach let me borrow it. Well, I'm playing Show and Tell. Zach let me borrow it.
No, I don't have. I only have 4 Show and Tells, but I can build every version of it. My favorite deck in the history of Legacy is Hivemind, and I played that for a long time because it's the thing about, we talked about this before, but like not to get into a tangent about Legacy, but every time a new card comes out, like so they just printed this Enter the Infinite card, and everybody's like, oh, this card's you can combo with Omniscience, and it's a good. I mean, we saw it's Make a Splash in Legacy. It's on the feature match or whatever, but there's literally like minute differences between Show and Tell Emrakul, Show and Tell Progenitus, Show and Tell Hivebind, Show and Tell Sneak Attack, Show and Tell Dream Halls. It's all Show and Tell Omniscience. It's all the same thing. You're casting Show and Tell. If it resolves, you win the game. There's like one being better than the other is like such a minor thing. It is so frustrating to me because everybody's like, oh, I can do this. Like, they built that Omniscience deck that had, like, Academy Rectors and all that stuff. Okay, so great. Now you're playing a Show and Tell that has, like, you can get consequential graveyard hate from.
Right.
Because Academy Rector has to go to the graveyard and then you can pull it, so it loses the surgical extraction now.
The thing about,
my Show and Tell deck doesn't give a crap about that.
The thing about, winning by graveyard, winning by infinite damage, winning by it's still winning. Show and Tell is what's important in that deck, no matter what huge fatty you're throwing down.
The most important card in that deck has always been Sneak Attack, because people play around. You can beat a Show and Tell with a lot of decks, but you can't put an O-Ring in response to a Sneak Attack activation. That's always the best card. And there's many times, I don't know how many times in the history of my Magic playing life that I have cast, including at the Grand Prix we went to, where it was pretty high stakes, high competitive, and I'm playing Show and Tell exclusively as a Pyretic Ritual.
Right. Because
I'm just playing it on turn 3, playing it with 3 mana, so I can Show and Tell in Sneak Attack that costs 4 mana, and then activate it the same turn. I mean, you do what you got to do. It's a very, very expensive Pyretic Ritual. Yeah. It's like $50 or $60 right now. But if you want to talk about Show and Tell, I can talk about Show and Tell for the rest of the evening. But I can't play the Dream Halls Show and Tell version because I don't like it at all. I'm not going to collect those cards because I will never play it. I don't understand why you would want to combo through 19, searching through 19 cards. I would rather just play.
Just drop the Emrakul.
Well, in that case, I'd rather just play. If you want to play Omniscience, it'd be better in that spot too. But I don't know. Currently, I'm playing Jund. I played Jund this week. It's very fun. You can still Bloodbraid Elf in Legacy. And it's still good. Surprisingly, still good. You guys heard it here first. Can we all agree the Bloodbraid Elf is a good Magic card?
It's alright.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, that's the kind of like format, like redefining strategy advice that a lot of people, these 72 people are tuning in for like, what? I don't know. Is Bloodbraid Elf good or not? Let me turn it into this weird closet magic show with this weird hobo guy. And
I mean, I can't believe people are still watching this thing with the Pro Tour going on.
we've actually been going up in numbers.
Are you serious?
Also, I think the Pro Tour may have just cut off at 9 o'clock.
Makes sense. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think Melissa DeTore is, she was 8-0. I don't know if she's 9-0.
Wow. What deck is she playing?
Doesn't matter. She's playing Free Invite is what she's playing. She's playing Bant, I think.
Yeah, well, she's 8-0. I think she belongs to be there.
Anybody can spike a tournament.
I guess.
Everybody else.
8-0 Pro Tour. I don't know
she's
if that's
good.
all chance.
No, she's
she's
good.
obviously very good.
It just
Much
bothered
better
me
than all of us.
because she got a special invite. And the special
She
invite.
wanted the special invite. You were next up, right behind me.
The special invite
right
she
right
got.
after her was you.
The special invite she got was very clearly because she was a prominent female Magic player who had not qualified for the Pro Tour, which I have no problem with.
Okay.
Just say that.
Right.
Just say, we're giving this special invite to this prominent female Magic player so that they can help promote the game amongst female players.
What was the reason for giving her the invite?
Just one of those things, like, because of, their influence on the game in the past, or whatever. Just one of those, like, arbitrary things that doesn't...
Things that you can't argue with us because it's our Pro Tour type thing.
Yeah. I have no problem with her playing in it.
Right.
That's not it. It's just like, it's the same thing with the bannings, when they're like, oh, we're banning Bloodbraid Elf because of this, and we're banning Seething Song because of this, but in reality, all of their argument was just complete bull, and it was just like, we're banning Bloodbraid Elf because too many people are playing Jund, and we don't like it.
Right.
And we're banning Seething Song because we hate that Storm exists.
Yes.
And we're just trying to neuter it. They said, oh, it's played too much online because it's the cheapest deck online.
Right.
They said this thing about like, 11% of players who got 18 points or more at the last Pro Tour were playing Storm. That means 6-3 in constructed. Like how that would be like JB banning Thundermaw Hellkites because 12.5% of the top 8 last week were playing Thundermaw Hellkites. That's just like one guy.
Right.
The numbers are, and then like I was telling Matt yesterday, the thing that really pisses me off about the Bloodbraid banning is that same thing happened last year with Blue White Delver. Like everybody was playing it, it was everywhere, and they didn't ban Snapcaster or Delver because they said, yes, tons of people playing it because it's the best deck, but it's not winning higher percentage games than it should. Lots of people are playing it, but it's not like it's winning 70% of its matches. So they didn't ban anything. Flash forward this year to Modern, Jund doing literally the exact same thing. We got to ban something.
Yeah.
In fact, it said in the thing for you. So it was being played by over 33% of people. So we looked to ban a card. That's what it says. We looked to ban a card.
Like, I think to take it a step further, you got to look at like how much Wizards is putting into Modern. I mean, coming out with a set that's strictly for Modern.
Yeah, they're trying so hard not to screw it up, and they are screwing it up so hard.
The idea that new players that don't play Modern see is, well, why play Modern when I'm just going to play Jund all the time because they don't take the time to research the format. What Wizards did was protect that. That way they can look at new players and say, hey, not everybody's playing the same deck, you might as well get into it.
No, it's a valid point, but the reason that everyone is playing Jund is because they've created an environment where like every deck is super fair. Mm-hmm. They're all like middling decks, so the value deck is always going to rise to the top. Like the reason Jund is good because everything is a 2-for-1. It's just the most consistent value deck. And because they've banned Ancestral Recall and Jace and Bitter Blossom, and you can't have these true control archetypes, so like you can't. And they banned the best aggro cards. They banned Wild Mikado. They banned Green Sun Zenith. So like they just ban everything. Here's what should be banned in Modern: Skull Clamp, Hypergenesis, and what was the other one I said? There's another degenerate one.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Jit.
Yeah. Those 3 cards banned. Everything else, there's no excuse. They should just let it play it out. Let people see what decks are good enough, and if something becomes egregious, Blazing Shoal. Yeah,
Blazing Shoal.
Ironically,
the one they didn't.
You heard it. I can go on record. You heard me say it. 4 cards I believe should be banned in Modern because they're unfair. Umazawa's Jite, Skull Clamp, Hypergenesis, and Blazing Shoal. But it's just too good. Are you still guys playing?
I think they just called time.
They just called time.
Oh, they call time.
5 rounds, yeah.
I want Modern to be good, but I just hate the way they're handling it. Like, they've designed Modern to be, like, all they're trying to do is prevent it from being Legacy. They're not promoting it to be its own format. They're just trying to avoid the problems of Legacy. And I've already talked multiple times on the stream tonight about how, like, the Jund deck I played in Modern last week, just for fun here at the store, cost like $2,000 retail in Star City. And, like, you know, they reprinted the Shocklands, and that's going to help, but, like, Thoughtseize is a $70 card. And it's like, well, they'll reprint it in Modern Masters, which I guarantee they will. But it's not like they're, unless they print them, the only way they can save Eternal formats like that is to print so many of the cards that they flood the market and they all go down to like $5 or $10. And the problem with that is, for all the new players you get, people quit playing the game. Because no one's going to be willing to invest money into cards if they're just going to willy-nilly reprint everything. You know why Legacy is so popular? It's because someone doesn't mind spending $100 on a dual land, knowing I got to buy 4 of these and I can play Legacy anytime I want to, and they're never reprinting this card, and it's always going to be worth, give or take, $100. I'm always going to be able to get something out of it. But, I mean, can you imagine, there were a bunch of guys stockpiling Shocklands because they thought, well, they're going to be worth a ton, whatever, and then they're like, now we're going to replace the land spot and the booster with them. You know what those Shocklands are going to be worth in like 6 months' time? $5 each. Okay, you watch.
Yeah, when I heard they were replacing the basic land, that's unbelievable.
Brandon, you're playing Table 7 against Alec. And Matt, you're playing in the parking lot against a dog.
Sweet.
No, did you see where you're on here?
No, he's playing control.
Oh shit.
Where are you even on here?
Yeah, I'm table 8.
Oh, Matthew, I was looking for Matt. I'm stupid. So this concludes my ranting and raving about Modern. And this also does conclude our, well, plenty more information about the Star City Games Invitational Qualifier. I did notice several of you in the chat say that you would be more than willing to come if you didn't live in Europe, and I apologize. I know that a lot of that stuff is not relevant to you guys, but for those of you all that are local, or at least regional, this is a great opportunity to come out, support the store, support the stream, meet everybody, and also win some fabulous cash and prizes. So, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to step outside and find you around for a feature match